Good afternoon. So this video is going to focus on the concept work for Memento Mori. Memento Mori is going to be a picture of a human skull, either very decorative or very symbolic, or a little bit of both, that reminds you of your mortality. Memento Mori means a memento or a reminder, of your mortality, of your death. And you can see that on the back of the paper I do have a human skull represented in kind of a realistic way, as far as skulls go, stripped of a lot of its detail, but still realistic in terms of shapes and proportions and placements. And we're going to use that as a starting point, but you don't have to stick with these lines, okay? They're there to give you a sense of placement and size, but beyond that, you're going to have your own fun with how you go about doing your concept. Now, this is all pencil work, and you see there's a lot of decorative element going on here. These shapes, which don't represent a darn thing, the nasal septum transforms into this longer shape, which arches over and forms the brow. Here's a spider and a spider's web crossing the surface. Decorative elements up here in the skull. Here's a sun rising or setting inside the eyeball, or the eye socket, the orbit of the eye right here. And you can see I've changed things up quite a bit. Some emphasis in the mouth. The teeth are no longer there. It looks like there's just layer upon layer of drips. And so that's pretty decorative. Elements like the black widow spider here, and if I did this, if I colored in that hourglass in red, that might even be more emphatic and more suggestive of the venom of that animal. Symbolism like that can enter the picture if you want to. Now here we have another one, spider present. This is kind of a cool eye. Star substitutes for that one. More of a kite shape or a diamond shape here. You can have areas of concentrated detail and then areas of not so concentrated detail. Okay, but you're gonna do this carefully, right? This is not a concept drawing, although this is pulled from the internet. This is very, very decorative and very symmetrical. Left and right sides are pretty much exactly the same. If you like that, you go with that, okay? You can see the features of the skull, the cheekbones, zygomatic bones, the upper and lower jaw, the nasal septum, the eye sockets, the orbits of the eye, the cranium. All of these things have been altered in some ways, exaggerated, simplified, made more stylistic, or made to look more stylish, okay? Now, this is a final right here, which you can do in ink if you want to. Lots and lots of ink work on that. No color whatsoever. You want to add color, you add color. You don't want to add color, don't add color. You want to use ink, you don't have to use ink, whatever. And here we have, this is strictly pencil, so this is student work right here. And this one is my work. Okay, again, all pencil, no marker. So whether you want to do all pencil or all marker or a combination of pencil and marker is up to you. Now let me go ahead and get started on this concept. You can see there's my skull on the back, and I've already got it started. I happen to be doing this in the combination of pencil as well as marker. I'm comfortable with marker, so it's okay for me to do that. Remembering we had been working with marker, talking specifically about line weight, and that would be how thick or thin the lines are. And also line quality, that would be the type of line. Okay, so whether it's a curly line, a zigzag line, what have you, you have line quality, line weight. Now that would be the bottom row of teeth, which is kind of weird because it looks like it's two sets already. Here is another row of teeth here. Now remembering I said something about line weight, I can vary or change up the line weight just by using a different drawing tool. This is an ultra fine point right here. Same company, Sharpie. Just a different thickness of line, okay? So I got that mouth there. Maybe, now you wouldn't have to necessarily do this on your concept, but maybe I'll go ahead and put some hatching there, some cross-hatching here. Hatching, cross-hatching, always useful for suggesting areas of deeper shadow, especially when you're doing pen and ink. All right, looks like I have a brow here. I can go over that in part with this ultrafine. And then maybe also flip to this super heavy duty marker. Got a chisel tip there. I might want to go ahead and add a heavy duty line right there. Weighted line, maybe a weighted line right there. Okay, maybe I want to put a weighted line right here. So this again is optional. You don't have to do marker when you do your concepts, but it can be helpful, especially to give you experience with the marker. Remember, the marker can be used alone or in combination with other drawing tools. In this case, the other drawing tool would be your colored pencil. Okay. I'm going to change this eye socket around a little bit. And before you know it, this little guy is going to be done. I'm going to put what look like petals from a flower right there. Sort of give you that idea. This could be a sun rising or setting. The fact that it's neither but could be both is kind of neat. Leave the viewer guessing. Let the viewer figure it out, okay? It might be, I'm going to go ahead and vary the line of the cranium there. The cranium is your skull. I might do a varied line there. Remember, slight changes in line, slight changes in color, slight changes in value. All those slight changes add up to a lot of more interest on the part of the viewer. I like this heavy line here. I'm going to repeat it right there. There's a lot of exaggeration. I kind of like this curve line. I don't know where it came from, but I'm going to head and go with it. It just seems to be well suited to that portion of the jaw right there. There's something comfortable for me doing this kind of work, so I'm going to repeat some of this. Not that this has to be any part of your concept, but hey, as long as I'm working with the pens and experimenting and experimenting and developing ideas, no reason why some of this can't be done in the concept and then carried over to the final if you like it. That's the idea. You got to like it. So going back to that later on, those lines, those shapes, you decide if it's something you like. I'm going to reinforce this line. That means I'm going to do it again here. I might go ahead and put these raindrops coming in, nourishing. Okay, just like the sun is nourishing of the planet, so can the rain be nourishing of plants. And for animals too. I mean, that's a required nutrient, right? Water. And so on and so forth. I go about my way, sometimes not even thinking about it, just doing. But doing it carefully. I'm not rushing. I'm not being distracted by anything right now. I'm just doing. And kind of letting it come along on its own. Okay? I think what I'm going to do up here, because I want this to be more of the center of the viewer's attention right here. I really want some more detail right here so the viewer is pulled up into this area a little bit more. So that diamond pattern that I'm creating with these contour lines crossing that surface, and then maybe going in here and darkening a few of these. Maybe this one, maybe this one, maybe this one, maybe this one. And not even doing it fully. I can do it fully if I want. I can come back later on and completely darken some of these squares in, or not. Just kind of depends on how I feel at the time. Right now, I think I like them partially filled in. Okay? All right, so you're getting the idea. Memento Mori is a skull, a human skull. You can stylize it all you want. Stylization means you can simplify. You can also embellish. That means adding a lot more detail than you would expect to find. Have fun with this assignment. Remember, there is a symbolic quality to the skull itself. A reminder to the viewer that their life is brief, that they will soon pass away. If I wanted to include other symbols in here that might be suggestive of the same thing, the same message, maybe a candle recently snuffed out, the smoke still rising from the wick recently extinguished, maybe a book, maybe some musical notes. The music comes and goes quickly in one's life. So that too, the musical instrument, the musical notes can be symbolic of the transience of life's pleasures. Food, of course, is great for that. So again, it can be purely decorative. You can also involve some symbolism. Now, you try.